well, what can I say? This is a failure, and I still say it comes back to the spent grain issue. It finished at 1025. Also, I'm using kind of a unique yeast on there. So that's what experimenting is all about. So I'm going to adjust that recipe a bit and see where we go from here. Coming at you. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. So that last beer that I did, that the grains weren't properly crushed. Now I brewed earlier this week, and I'm going to show you that I did that beer properly. But at any rate, I did put it on tap. It came out to a whopping 1.8% ABV. Basically, it's something that I can use to hydrate. You know, that's my assumption at that level. But anyway, I thought that for fun, man, it's all on the keg. You know, waste not, want not, and I could just pound this stuff all day long. So we're gonna get the first pint right here together. It's got kind of a small head. We're gonna do a nice full English pint there. That's the proper way to do it. A full English pint. Look at that. All right. So you can get a look. It's pretty dark for 1.8%, isn't it? You know what? This is not bad. I thought it was going to just taste like water, complete water at 1.8%, but because I used a number of unfermentables, and it finished at, I think, 1.025 or 1.024 actually, I think. So there's a lot of sweetness on it, surprisingly. That's very quenchable. It's a hoot. You know, what the heck, I'll drink this, because I could have a lot of these at night and feel like I'm totally hydrated, and, you know, I don't know if I'll feel anything at all. So, cheers to that. And then, I don't know how you put that into your diet calculator, Tony Yates, right? Where do you get a 1.8% beer? There's no such thing, except for here at Clement's Homebrew. So, but Christian would love this, so I've invited a few of my buddies to come over and, you know, fill a growler full if they want. And, but I bet you Christian will fill a growler full and just go for it. Okay, so, onward. I brewed yesterday. Today's Saturday. I brewed Friday. Getting this video going early. Go check it out. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, B's and G's. Hey, it's Friday morning. I'm up early. I'm gonna brew before the weekend hits. I've got so many things I gotta do this weekend. I've gotta brew now. So that's what we're up to. Got my coffee going. Got a lot of stuff going here already. Got a few little tweaks to make though as I go. My beer, if I didn't say last week, came out at 1.8% ABV. So basically that's water. I can use that for hydration through the week. But I did pick up a few things. So one, the grain mill is coming in on Monday. That'll be here. It didn't get here yet. So I went and put it through the mill at the shop twice to be sure. And I picked up, and I'm honoring our sponsors from Brewcraft. I got 2 new brew buckets. Needed to retire the old ones, so I'm going to be cleaning these in a moment. And then on top of that, oh, you know, Brewcraft, you know what I don't like? Is these used to be dark, more readable. Yeah, I'm going to have to take a pen to those. That would have been nice. Anyway, and I picked up another little treat here. I got this nice little thermowell here unit, so that you know, I can go ahead and put my temperature gauge from the Inkbird right into this, and it makes no cleanup, you know, messes with that. And you know, there we go. The bubbler's going to go right there. So that's great. The airlock and everything all in one shot, nice and clean. I got 2 of these, and I got 2 of the buckets. So because I'm going to be brewing today, and probably I'm going to be brewing within a couple more days again too. I've got to get a few more brews on quickly before this challenge. So anyway, I'm going to get going here. If you haven't seen my water setup before, I'll show it to you. I've got my filter, got it set up with a valve. I can just set that right there and put it in and turn her on, which is great. I love this. Really simple. And there are marks on here to show me what the water level is, so that's helpful. So I'm going up to 22 liters on this, which is about 23 1/4 quarts. And there we go. So easy. So last week's mishap really got me to even working harder on all of this. And I've made a few changes I'll tell you about later. But after you really can't brew this in time for a challenge, right? But I'll be happy to share some of the little tricks I'm trying to employ here. And a few of those changes I think are going to really even further improve this beer. So I'm kind of excited about that. Alright, picked the recipe. Made sure my temps are right on my nice little Celsius and Fahrenheit conversion tables here. And we're going to get it all heated up and going. Cheers, B's and G's. Happy brew day. Oh, yeah. Well, this is way above my patience level. But I'm going to show you a couple upgrades that I just made on my new Brewcraft brew bucket. Pen marks. I took a permanent marker. The marks are slightly raised, so way too much patience for me. But I've marked in the major numbers. I wasn't going to go with the detailed ones in between, but I did mark all the lines, so I've got my liters and gallons highlighted. One of the other things I love to do is put these little temperature gauges here. They're stickers right on there, and I've had that on my first one. I always loved it, so I picked up a pair of those. I just think they're a great way to go. Just one more thing that's checking temperature and tells me if something's gone off wrong. Anyway, got to do a little more one-time clean and sanitization of this thing, and this one's just about ready to go. Got to drill the top too. Another interesting little fact, if you've been following the SJ Port Challenge, iMake is one of our sponsors, and take a look at that lid. That's right, iMake. Brewmaster distributes iMake products in the US, and I'm gathering they make their lids for them now. Maybe make the buckets as well. iMake 55592, right there. Interesting. I'm going to make a little pilot hole first. Put me right in the middle. We'll repeat with the second lid. Alright, I'll deburr that a little bit, but one down. Next I'm going to use a little deburring tool that's used for pipes. Take some of that off. But because it's plastic and they can melt a little bit, I am going to use a really fine sandpaper, like for finishing on wood. So this is a 220. It's pretty fine. I'm going to just go ahead and, I like using one of these, they're like sponge sandpapers, but I like putting these over. I hear the ding, so my water's ready at this point. I'm going to just finish this up. And that's pretty clean. If you've got a better way to do this, I'd love to hear it, and probably so would a lot of other people. So please put comments down below on how you put your holes in your fermentation lids. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on, but I've been scooping out the all the malts and putting it in here, and we're just mixing it in. Just like any other kind of mashing, you want to make sure that you don't have any dough balls. I have found though that with slowly putting in the grain on the top, it kind of slowly drops in and it really doesn't create any. I've never had any problems as of yet. The one thing I will admit is a little bit of a pain is getting this first screen in so it drops down and doesn't like have an edge sink into the grains. Alright, we did that successfully. But you've got to be a bit careful when you do that. Otherwise, grains could go on top of that screen, which kind of means it's going to go into the pump and everything else. But if everything goes as before, then I've got plenty of water in here to cover the heating elements. Alright, here we go. All filled in, check. And away she goes. She's currently at 67 Celsius. Also for the level, because there's different levels around here, I know for this spot, I've got this piece of wood goes under these wheels here, so I'll lock the wheels in a moment, and it puts it at just a perfect level actually. So as you can see, you've got the whole filtering system there. You've got the top piece there and the malt pipe, and then a strainer below. So that's going to ensure even distribution. So I have no problem just pouring all the water right on top and just let it naturally filter through all areas of the mash. So it's continuing to drip ever so slowly, but I've got it hoisted up quite high, and I'm going to go ahead and start the boil right now. And again, I'll be able to set it down on this. Man, any of you guys, I highly recommend something like this. This is just this for plants, and it's held up to all the heat and everything else, and it's really thin. It's easy to store, so this has just been a beauty. So just like any regular brew, you've got a hot break, and I can already see that we're foaming up a little bit. Now, it might be an automated system, but you know, just like any other one, it definitely does that hot break. And in with East Kent Goldings here today. One thing I'm going to try a little bit different, because my glasses are fogging up, is I think I'm going to leave the top off today. It should be able to hold temperature without any problem, really. But the reason for that, and I'm going to see if this is the case, is I think the way that the steam has worked, it's pulled up the hops onto the sides. And so then they're not in the boil the whole time. I want to see if having the lid off kind of fixes that a little bit. Whatever automated brewing system you've got, one beautiful thing is, for me anyway, on this is cleanup time and spare time. So I've already got my my mash pipe is all clean. It's all beautiful and shiny, and that's ready to put away. I mean, everything's cleaned up. my burner's put away. All that's done. All that's clean. I've been handling emails with SJ himself and some other people already this morning. And probably got about 5 more minutes for my next ad on here to add some yeast nutrient. Okay, hold on. Timer is going off, so I am putting in the yeast nutrient as I am chatting with Christian. That always makes for a great morning. Oh, time to add the maybe not so secret next ingredient. But actually, I think, I was trying to think the other day how many things I've employed to give this a fuller body. I think there was at least 4 key elements that I'm doing to do that, to accomplish that. And again, as we get on to submitting our beers, I think I will share some of those concepts with you. And some of these things I'm doing can equally apply to probably almost any style when you're talking about low ABV beers. So, all right, well, we've got a little less than 15 minutes left. It is Irish Moss time. And I've been kind of going with the man, bear, pig, Josh theory. And I am putting in actually 2 teaspoons of Irish moss. What the heck? Actually, I like that a lot more for IPAs, which this is not. And but hey, you know, why not let it grab some more of those proteins and things and help clean it up for you. If you got a reason not to use that much, let me know. Last hop addition, we're basically done here. Five more minutes. I like to have my coils sitting in, my chiller sitting in a sanitation bucket the whole time. I don't know. That's just my thing. I clean it up good afterwards too, and then beforehand it's sitting in my sanitation bucket and put in at the last part of the boil. I love the long cord that I got for this that plugs into my, I think it's a NEMA 6 power connection rather than the European one. It was a great way to go. If anyone has a Braumeister and needs something like that in the US, let me know. I'll find that link again, but that was just a great move for me. Made things pretty easy. And God, I love my cart too, because I'm going to just roll it over here by the edge for cooling. Excellent. The wheels are all locked into place. I've had my bucket full of sanitizer the whole time, as well as my little my cold well unit. I like to capture my water, but the first part's always a little bit too hot, so I don't pour that onto the plants. A funny little side note for you: after dropping all this weight, I like to use my old jeans still for brewing, but they're quite a few sizes too large, as is my belt, so I actually had to cut another notch back here on the belt so I could tighten it up and keep the pants on. Another little tip, I like taking the handles and putting it down over the end of the hose just to hold it in, particularly when it's getting the air bubbles out at the beginning. I love the recirculation that it does while we're chilling. Allows me to do other stuff. We're down to 25 Celsius, which is 77 Fahrenheit. So we're just about where we want to be. Alright, we're at 21 Celsius, which is 70 degrees, so we're looking good. I've had my bucket sanitized, and I've been putting the sanitizer into another bucket. Had the end of the hose into that the whole time. I'm going to turn off the recirculation. They say don't fear the foam. I don't know why, I still have a little bit of a fear of foam always.
And I love doing this. I'm going to just put the hop sock on there. Tighten it around that just to catch what we can. And let it rip. I'm sure I filled this too high. Oh yeah. There we go. This seems like it's coming out a good bit better than the last time around. We know that the grains were milled down properly. That's looking like about 1.057. Interesting, that's coming out at 1.054, so I might recalibrate this and see where we're at. Huh, well, I'll tell you what, I checked the calibration with solid, with water. It's still 1.054 here and 1.057 on the other, so I don't know. You tell me what you think, guys. Alright, it's about time to put this baby to bed here. I have this in the sanitizer, so we're going to just go ahead, mix that in just a little bit. Nice little rinse. New lids. It's a little bit more stiff. Wow, this is going to be wonderful. Love that. Oh, that's perfect. It's going to work great with the temperature probe. There we go. Oh, that is just, I love it. That's just the best solution. Got my inkbird here. That's just beautiful. I love that. Now, these are designed that you can tape them on. I don't know, I decided to go the bungee way. Something about tape always concerns me, leaving residual stickiness and potential damage. I don't know why, but anyway. And we're going to push it over to that corner because we're going to be adding another one very soon. I'm going to set that for 70 initially, but and then we'll let it drop down after that. We're going to let it drop down to 68. So, one last thing to do, which helps the heating, is to put a little blanket around it. So adding that towel just creates a buffer for it and allows it to do its job much better. All right, this one goes to bed. Cheers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. We'll catch you all next time around. I got another brew coming soon.